So I wanted to start off by giving you sort of a practical aspect of leveraging data and what it means on the ground running with particular issues that are, highly charged within the public that you serve. And so in Greene County, in April of this year, two large grocery stores said they were closing in 30 days. This was now the third grocery store in 3 years that was closing, leaving one on the eastern edge of Greene County left, and with population over 13,000 with one grocery store not convenient, centrally located. So we knew Extension would potentially be involved in this process, and so we quickly got involved. And so at this point, I'm out there identifying who those key stakeholders will be and lending my support to them, whether that is City Hall in this case, because in most community and economic development projects, a lot of people outside of Extension go to City Hall. And so we knew, we needed to be support to them if they were going to decide to be the lead on this particular project. We needed to make sure that we were engaging with them, coming to the table, sharing our resources, being available, but maybe not jumping right in and leading the charge. And so sometimes, on the ground, those practical things of making time to, offer your support, but sit back and wait for them to kind of ask you for that next step is important. Over time, we kept staying engaged. And in the process, I wanted to start a survey right away. I wanted to get out there and jump on it. But I knew that I needed community support and I needed buy-in. And that was really, really important. So it was April of this year. The grocery store practically closes in 2 to 3 weeks because the product was off the shelf. But we're still kind of waiting locally for what's happening. So the process, locally began to fall apart at City Hall. I kept re-engaging with local officials, kept offering Extension support, but I had to still sit back and be patient. Okay, so at this point, Extension's now being asked, Jennifer, can you come and fill our need at City Hall? We really like to bring you in, but here's what we want you to do. And a lot of it, I had to make sure, were what they were asking me for, did it fit the mission of Extension? And in essence, initially it was, will you just be another employee of the City Hall and start working on this on our schedule and just when we need it? And I said, I think we really need to evaluate it. We need to look at, what resources Extension has, what our network is, the fact that we can build coalitions, the fact that we can facilitate holding local meetings, developing an action plan, and then activating that process. And so that's where it began. We offered to do that. I started the Greene County Grocery Task Force, doing all the things all the teams on here do all the time, get those right players to the table. Our churches, our schools, our local officials, our health departments, and then a number of people within the business community, and we got started. And so, all along, I was kind of in the background, looking at my sources of potential survey designs, what's been out there, what's been done before. And so I had a fairly good idea of what might be out there. But at this point, that's when I engaged with colleagues internally. And so Pam, who's on the call today, we got together and started looking at, what I had on hand. Did it fit what we needed locally out in the field? And then we started this dialogue back and forth between the local task force and other players, and got to a point where I'd say we were, 98%, 99% certain this would be the survey. We took that survey, engaged with IRB, and made sure we followed the process of getting that certification. And then we launched the survey. And this was the fun part for me to do this. We had not anticipated doing this all on social media. And I wouldn't say that you really should. But in this case, it was such a hot topic locally that we had a pretty intricate survey, the way it was designed and the way we structured questions, that online it worked super. I mean, it wasn't a short survey, so it wasn't a 1 or 2 question survey. It was a pretty lengthy survey, probably around 7 minutes or 5 to 7 minutes long. And we launched it. We launched it on social media, again, making sure that that task force was behind us, that they were going to like, share, comment, and help to drive it and do all the things that, those task force do. And This was an interesting one for us. In less than a week, and I would say in 2 to 3 days, we had over 500 people that had filled out the entire survey. It doesn't usually happen that way. At this point, I was behind the scenes looking, is it hitting our demographics? Is it hitting our income, age, spots around Greene County, outside the community, inside the community? And it was. I couldn't believe how much it moved. I was watching some of the initial views on social media, and it went quickly up to 4,600 views. So it was really kind of an amazing thing. And then this is what happened. Usually you have a lot more time practically to take your time, get the results, look them over, analyze them. But in this case, not having groceries for this long, and there were some businesses looking to take that data and start some small, not grocery stores, but convenience markets. And we needed to get the data out there. At this point, we were analyzing the data, preparing that output, making sure we had an output that the public would read, which was really important for me, is that the style coming out of Qualtrics isn't exactly what I think people need. I think it needs to be, really adapted to fit the audience. And so we did that. And then that was where we started sharing with key stakeholders and those businesses, local officials, and then back on social media with listing that information for the public. And this was an interesting survey where you'd normally have all the combined data. But in this case, it started to go into the comments were so helpful in our programming, like where is Extension going next in supporting the public? And it came down to a lot of the comments within the data sets. And so if you see on the screen here, there was the first one says, still am devastated. Not only, lost the ability to conveniently purchase groceries, but, just the travel cost. We're seeing how it's impacting the elderly, how it's impacting those on SNAP and WIC, the loss of jobs in the economy, and then just, the amount of time people are spending. And so we know at this point, this is where Extension, we've got the data, and then the real work begins. And this is when we will be working with nonprofits to address some of these issues. I've already been out to meet with these local business owners that are wanting to expand and saying, what additional survey work can we do? What will it take for you to offer SNAP and WIC benefits within the store? How can we, help you in that respect? And so at this point, that's where we are. It's kind of on the ground running. And if anybody out there wants additional information, please follow up.